1187, the year that changed the course of history. On the arid plains of Hattin, one of the most decisive battles of the medieval era unfolded. It was here that Saladin, the Sultan of Egypt and Syria, shattered the Crusader forces, paving the way for the Muslim reconquest of Jerusalem. This is the story of Saladin's triumph, the battle that altered the fate of the Crusader States. In 1186, Guy of Lusignan ascended to the throne of Jerusalem, but his reign began amid deep divisions. The Knights Templar, led by figures like Reynald of Châtillon, backed Guy. Opposing him were the nobles, led by Raymond III of Tripoli, who had served as regent for the late King Baldwin V. Meanwhile, Saladin had spent decades uniting Egypt, Damascus, and Aleppo under Sunni Islam. By 1187, he controlled a vast empire surrounding the Crusader States. Saladin was determined to reclaim Jerusalem, the spiritual heart of the Muslim world. In 1187, the fragile peace between Saladin and the Crusaders shattered when Reynald of Châtillon raided a Muslim Hajj caravan, violating a truce. Saladin swore vengeance, declaring Reynald's actions a crime against Islam. With his resolve hardened, Saladin began assembling a massive army, 40,000 strong, including 12,000 cavalry. The Crusaders, though fewer in number, prepared to respond. Saladin's strategy was as cunning as it was ruthless. On July 2, 1187, he attacked Tiberias, a fortress defended by the wife of Raymond III. This forced the Crusaders to make a difficult choice: remain in their fortified position near the springs of La Safri or march to Tiberias, risking exhaustion and thirst. Against the advice of their commanders, Guy of Lusignan chose to march, leaving the safety of their encampment. As the Crusaders advanced, Saladin's forces harassed them relentlessly with horse archers. Every mile brought mounting casualties and dwindling morale. On July 3rd, the Crusaders altered their course toward the springs of Hattin, desperately seeking water. But Saladin had anticipated their move. His army intercepted them, blocking access to water and forcing the Crusaders to camp on an arid plateau. That night, the Muslim forces demoralized their enemies with drums, chants, and fires. The Crusaders, parched and exhausted, prepared for the inevitable. At dawn on July 4th, the Crusaders launched a desperate assault, but they were surrounded. Count Raymond of Tripoli managed to break through with a small force, but the majority of the Crusaders were trapped. Fighting erupted on the horns of Hattin, two rocky hills that would become a graveyard for the Crusader army. By midday, the Crusader lines crumbled. Thousands were killed, and those who survived retreated to the hilltops, where they were surrounded and captured. Among the captives were Guy of Lusignan and Reynald of Châtillon. Saladin, adhering to his principles, offered water to Guy, a gesture symbolizing mercy. But when Guy passed the cup to Reynald, Saladin struck it down. Reynald, who had violated the truce, was executed. Guy, however, was spared, as Saladin declared, "Kings do not kill kings." While noble prisoners were ransomed, 200 captured Templar and Hospitaller Knights were executed. The defeat at Hattin devastated the Crusader States. Only a handful of knights escaped, leaving Jerusalem vulnerable. Saladin wasted no time. In the months following Hattin, he captured 52 Crusader-held settlements. On October 2, 1187, Jerusalem fell to his forces, marking the culmination of a campaign that began on the fields of Hattin. Saladin's triumph reshaped the Middle East and left an enduring legacy of strategy, leadership, and mercy. The Battle of Hattin wasn't just a clash of armies. It was a turning point in the Crusades. Saladin's victory demonstrated his brilliance as a leader and changed the course of history forever. The fall of Jerusalem to Saladin on October 2, 1187, sent shockwaves through Europe. News of the defeat at Hattin and the loss of the Holy City galvanized the Christian world. Pope Urban III reportedly died from the grief upon hearing the news, and his successor, Pope Gregory VIII, immediately issued a call for a new crusade. This call marked the beginning of the Third Crusade, one of the most famous military campaigns of the medieval era. Saladin's capture of Jerusalem was notable for its restraint. Unlike the Crusader conquest of the city in 1099, which was marked by widespread slaughter, Saladin ensured that there was minimal bloodshed. He negotiated terms with the city's defenders, allowing Christian inhabitants to leave safely upon payment of a ransom. Those unable to pay were often freed by Saladin's generosity or by funds raised by other Muslims. The Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which had been converted into Christian churches, were rededicated to Islam. Saladin's chivalry earned him respect even among his enemies. Meanwhile, the Third Crusade gathered momentum. Led by some of the most powerful monarchs of Europe, Richard the Lionheart of England, Philip II of France, and Frederick Barbarossa of the Holy Roman Empire, it aimed to reverse Saladin's victories and reclaim Jerusalem. This campaign, which began in 1189, saw major battles and strategic maneuvers between the Crusaders and Saladin's forces. One of the most significant confrontations was the Siege of Acre, which lasted from 1189 to 1191. The Crusaders, with support from European reinforcements, captured the city after a grueling siege, dealing Saladin a rare defeat. Despite the setback, Saladin remained resolute, maintaining control over much of the territory he had won. The Third Crusade culminated in the Battle of Arsuf in 1191, where Richard the Lionheart achieved a decisive victory against Saladin's forces. This battle showcased Richard's military prowess and leadership, earning him admiration and respect. Yet, despite their victories, the Crusaders could not achieve their ultimate goal of retaking Jerusalem. The two leaders, Richard and Saladin, came to respect each other deeply over the course of the campaign. Their negotiations led to the Treaty of Jaffa in 1192. Under the treaty, the Crusaders retained control of a coastal strip from Jaffa to Acre, ensuring safe passage for Christian pilgrims to Jerusalem. However, Jerusalem itself remained under Muslim control, solidifying Saladin's achievement as a long-lasting legacy. Saladin's health began to decline shortly after the conclusion of the Third Crusade. He died in 1193 in Damascus, at the age of 56, leaving behind an empire that had become a beacon of unity in the Muslim world. Despite his immense wealth as a ruler, Saladin's treasury was reportedly nearly empty at the time of his death due to his acts of charity and generosity. The events that unfolded after the Battle of Hattin not only shaped the Crusades, but also left a lasting impression on history. Saladin's legacy as a skilled military commander, a unifier of the Muslim world, and a paragon of chivalry continues to be celebrated across cultures. His victory at Hattin and the subsequent capture of Jerusalem marked the zenith of his career, demonstrating how one leader's vision and strategy could alter the course of history. The Battle of Hattin remains a testament to the power of unity, strategy, and the enduring human spirit. After Saladin's death in 1193, his empire began to fragment. He had divided his territories among his sons and family members, following Islamic traditions of inheritance. However, this division weakened the political unity that Saladin had so carefully crafted. His successors struggled to maintain the cohesion of his empire, and internal rivalries eventually emerged. The Crusader States, though significantly weakened by the defeat at Hattin, experienced a partial resurgence. The coastal strongholds secured by the Treaty of Jaffa allowed the Crusaders to maintain a foothold in the Holy Land. Over the next century, the Crusaders launched several campaigns to rebuild their presence, including the Fourth and Fifth Crusades. However, none achieved the strategic or symbolic success of the First Crusade. Jerusalem remained under Muslim control for nearly a century after Saladin's victory, until 1229, when the Sixth Crusade, led by Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II, achieved a surprising diplomatic success. Through negotiations with the Ayyubid ruler Al-Kamil, Frederick regained Jerusalem, Nazareth, and Bethlehem for the Christians without a single battle. This agreement, however, was temporary, as the city would return to Muslim control in 1244 after being recaptured by the Khwarezmians. The Crusader presence in the Levant continued to erode over the 13th century. The rise of the Mamluks, a military dynasty based in Egypt, proved to be the final blow. Under leaders like Sultan Baybars and Sultan Kalawan, the Mamluks launched a series of campaigns that systematically dismantled the Crusader strongholds along the coast. The final chapter of the Crusader States came in 1291 with the fall of Acre, their last major stronghold. The siege was a brutal and bloody affair, and its outcome marked the definitive end of the Crusader presence in the Holy Land. With Acre's fall, the Crusaders were expelled from the region, retreating to Cyprus and other outposts in the Mediterranean. Despite the eventual collapse of the Crusader States, the impact of Saladin's victory at Hattin endured. His achievements inspired subsequent Muslim leaders, and his name became synonymous with unity, strategy, and chivalry. In the Christian world, Saladin's legacy was remembered with a mix of admiration and caution. His ability to unify disparate Muslim factions and wage a successful campaign against the Crusaders served as a powerful example of leadership and determination. The Battle of Hattin and its aftermath also had far-reaching consequences beyond the battlefield. It reshaped the political and cultural dynamics of the region, influencing relationships between the Muslim and Christian worlds for centuries. The memory of Saladin and his triumph at Hattin continues to be a symbol of resilience, leadership, and the enduring struggle for control of one of the most contested regions in history.